Alright, so MLG Anaheim is in the books. I thought it was an alright event. There wasn't really too many matchups I cared about. I found myself bored a lot of the times. That might just be because Optic, Envy, and FaZe didn't do so well this event, and there wasn't really like too many like top teams still playing in the championship bracket on Sunday. So I found myself bored a lot of the times watching these matches. There was some entertaining matchups like the Optic and LG one on Saturday night. The grand final was pretty entertaining. That matchup could have gone either way in the first series. Splice could have definitely 3-1 LG. So it was very close in the grand final, and there was some entertaining matchups, but for the majority of the event, I found myself like really bored watching it. That might just be the game, to be honest. So maybe I don't really enjoy watching Infinite Warfare that much. I don't know, but that's besides the point. I want to talk about Team EnVyUs because there's a lot of speculation that they will make a roster change, which I think so. I think they should make a change. A lot of the Envy fans are saying that they shouldn't make a roster change because this team will be really good in boots on the ground in Call of Duty World War II, and that's a possibility. Maybe they could figure something out, but you gotta realize there's $2 million to play for in the upcoming events, like COD Champs and Stage 2. Like there's a $2 million prize pool. I mean that's some serious money, man, and this team has not improved at all. Like each event, they get worse and worse, and they just placed top 24. So I think this is going to be like a 90 to like 95% chance that they're going to make a roster change. They have like I want to say 2 or 3 weeks until roster lock for Stage 2 and COD Champs. So there's a little bit of time to find out who they want to pick up, and I'm just gonna like make suggestions on like who they should and who I think they should pick up. Um, I written down their KDs since MLG Dallas. So from MLG Dallas, Stage 1, Stage 1 playoffs, and the most recent event MLG Anaheim. And I'm just going to explain to you guys like how well they're slaying from those 4 events. So JKap from MLG Dallas to MLG Anaheim has a .90 kill death ratio. Then we have John with a 1.0 KD. Then Apathy with a 1.0 as well. Now his KD would have been a lot higher if he didn't play so bad at Stage 1 playoffs, where he got like a .77 kill death ratio at that event. So he had a 1.0, and Slasher with a 1.01. So from MLG Dallas to MLG Anaheim, they have not been slaying so well, especially JKap. This hasn't been JKap's year. He has struggled in Infinite Warfare, and I think his time on Team EnVyUs has came to an end. Now, who could they get? Who's available? Obviously, the number 1 pick is Gunless. I think a lot of the top teams will be after Gunless. There's still some speculation that FaZe will trade Clayster over to E United for Gunless. You guys still think about that possibility, but I think Envy should target Gunless. They have the money to do so if they need to buy out his contract. Maybe they can make a trade. I doubt that they'll take JKap for Gunless. I don't really see that trade working out because E United stated a few weeks ago that they want a player of equal caliber to Gunless. And like I said, JKap has been struggling at Infinite Warfare this year, and especially from MLG Dallas to MLG Anaheim with his .90 KD. I mean that's not really an equal trade to to get Gunless. So I doubt that they'll take JKap 1-for-1. They could trade John for Gunless. John has been playing a little bit better at Stage 2 playoff or Stage 1 playoffs in MLG Anaheim. But John is not Gunless. He's not going to replace what E United is going to lose in Gunless. So I doubt they'll take John for Gunless. You can trade Apathy for Gunless. I think that's a fair trade. Apathy has been the most consistent player on EnVyUs, and I think, in my opinion, he's a top 10 player in Infinite Warfare, even though he had a bad Stage 1 playoffs with a .77 KD. But other than that event, he's been playing super well at this game. So I think that's a fair trade. They want to go ahead and do that. You do lose some slaying power on this Envy roster if you do trade Apathy for Gunless, if E United wants to even do that trade. Now, you could buy out his contract. I know EnVyUs has the money to do so, but I'm not Hastro. I'm not the management team. But I'm pretty sure they have the money to buy out his contract. It's going to be expensive. I believe LG offered E United 20K for Gunless, and E United declined that. So he's going to be expensive, but Envy, they have the money to do it. I know they do. At least I think they do. They could buy out his contract, or they can trade hopefully they take a JKap for him. So any way they can get gunless, I think they should. Another player that I want to see Envy pick up is Aqua. Now Rise, well, Aqua's on Rise, and Rise is, they're kind of similar to Team EnVyUs in a way. Ever since their championship win at Las Vegas, they have been going way downhill. They've been declining from event to event. They have not been getting any better, just like Team EnVyUs. So I think they should make a trade for Aqua. Now I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Aqua's contract. I'm not sure if they want to trade him or maybe let EnVyUs buy out his contract. I'm not sure what they want to do with Aqua. I'm not even sure if Aqua wants to leave. Rise, they may stick together and grind it out these last couple of events. But like I said, there's a lot of money to play for. Rise has not been doing well, and Aqua, in my opinion, is a top 10 player in Infinite Warfare, and he could really help out in EnVyUs in Search and Destroy, the respawn game modes. He can help out EnVyUs in a lot of ways. So if you can buy out Aqua's contract, I say go ahead and do it. But if you can't do that, I would make a trade. Who they would take for Aqua, I don't know. He's by far the best player on Rise, so I doubt they'll take like John for Aqua. I doubt that they will take JKap for Aqua. So I'd like to see them get both Aqua and Gunless. That would help out EnVyUs big time. The roster could be like Gunless, Aqua, Apathy, and Slasher. I think that would be a really dominant roster going into Stage 2 and Call of Duty Championship. They would actually have a legit contending team that could compete with LG, Optic, FaZe, pretty much all those teams. And they would be really dominant at Search and Destroy. And we all know there's 2 Search and Destroys in the best of 5. So I would like Envy to have that roster. Now that seems very unlikely that they will get those 2 players. Now I did write down some cheaper options that EnVyUs could do. They can get Mox from Bittersweet. It really surprises me that Mox is not on a top team already. The only problem about if they do pick up Mox is him and Slasher kind of play like a similar role. So I would guess that Slasher would have to change up his role a little bit if Envy do consider picking up Mox. He should be very cheap. If they have to trade a player, I would trade either JKap or John for him, or buy out his contract. I believe he's not on an organization with his team. They were only on Bittersweet for MLG Anaheim for only like 1 event. So after Anaheim, they're looking for another organization. So he should be pretty cheap if you want to, release a player for him or make a trade or something. I don't know, but Mox is definitely he's the first player on my list for cheaper options. Like I said, him and Slasher play like a similar role, so someone would have to switch up the anchor role. Another option they can do is Llama God, who's also on Bittersweet, so he's a teammate of Mox. And again, it really surprises me that Llama God is not on a top team already. We've heard of Llama God all the way back in Advanced Warfare, so he's been a really great player, really great at respawn, really great at Search and Destroy. He can help out EnVyUs in a lot of ways. So he could be another cheap option that Envy could consider. Another cheap option would be Dashy from Straight Rippin'. I've heard a couple of people on Reddit call him like the next Hook, so that's already like a big compliment to Dashy. And Straight Rippin', they didn't play too much at MLG Anaheim. They only played like I want to say like 4 maps in the championship bracket. So, and he actually led the KD, the overall KD at Anaheim with a 1.30. Now, like I said, Straight Rippin' only played like 4 maps, so in 4 maps he got a 1.3 KD. He could be like another cheap option, but he could be a little bit more risky than the other 2 I mentioned, just because we haven't really heard too much from him. I know I think he was like an S&D star or something. I know Parasite has talked a lot about Dashy, so he could be another cheap option Envy could consider, another up-and-coming player. EnVyUs can do like what Cloud9 did a few weeks ago and pick up 2 upcoming stars, amateur players. Like C9 picked up Exotic and Priestess, so Envy can do something similar by picking up like Dashy and maybe someone else if they wanted to. But I think Dashy is a little bit more risky than the other 2 players I mentioned. But another option they can get is BZ from Era. He's another up-and-coming star, I guess you can say. He played really well at MLG Anaheim, carried his team quite a bit, led them in kill-death ratio. I believe he was like, I want to say like top 15 in KD at Anaheim with like a 1.13, I do believe. So he could be like another cheap option Envy could try to get. I also written down some curveballs that EnVyUs can do. Temp and TJ Halley are turning 18 in July, so they'll be eligible for a Call of Duty Championship. But if you want to consider picking up Temp or TJ, I don't think they're eligible for Stage 2, so you will have to play with a fill-in for Stage 2 and Stage 2 playoffs if you do consider picking up Temp or TJ for COD Champs. But that could be two other options, like two other curveballs that Envy could do. In the roster, like I said before, that I want to see them get is Aqua and Gunless. Gunless is a top 5 player in Infinite Warfare. He can help you out in Search and Destroy. He's one of the best camo players in the game. He plays the objective, so that takes a lot of pressure off of Apathy, who can go back to his slaying role. Doesn't really have to worry about the OBJ too much. Gunless can slay. He was the MVP at MLG Atlanta. Really carried E United, in my opinion. Gunless is the real deal, man, and any way they can get him, I think they should. And a lot of the top teams, if they're going to make a change, Gunless is their top target. So, anyway, that's my opinion on what EnVyUs should do. There's a lot of options that they could go with. Let me know in the comments if you come across this video what you think, what Envy should do. And I'll talk to you in my next video, and peace out.